All right, fourth grade, we're going to start talking about what your assignment is for today. We've already collected our data on our states, and our next step is then to make a graph for that. We will be printing these next week, and so it's important that you finish both of your graphs today. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to click on the Start button. You're going to go to My Computer. Once you're in My Computer, of course, you're going to find your folder, okay? You're going to double-click to open that up, and inside of there, you should find a file called States. And when you double-click to open that up, you should have all of your information here. Your name should also appear up here in the top left corner. Now, the first thing you need to do in order to make a graph using Excel is you have to highlight the information that you want to graph. In this case, we need to highlight all of our information for states that are west of the Mississippi. Notice that I've included the state names as well. That's important so that you know what information goes to which state. Once you've done that, you're going to go up here to where it says Insert, and you're going to go choose one of these charts. Now, I'm going to ask you only to choose either a column or a pie graph. Okay, I know that there are other choices, but to make it a little bit simpler and not have as many options, you're going to choose those. So I'm going to show you one of each. So if I click on column, you can see that when it drops down, I have all sorts of choices. Don't get too fancy, and you don't want any of these that have double lines in it. So you're just going to choose something like a 3D column. You'll notice that your information is highlighted, and now we see our graph that has appeared right here. Now this is very good because now we can take this, and you'll notice that my mouse changes from a plus sign into like a smaller one, and I can move this over by grabbing the edge. Okay, that's important to move it out of the way. Now this looks a little different because California is so out of whack with all the other states that I chose, and that's fine. Just make sure that you have the information there and that you can see the state names. If you don't see the state names, that means you didn't highlight over here. Okay, so you'll notice I can grab a corner and it turns into a little two arrows. I can drag that out to make it a little bit bigger if it's harder for you to read. Now the next thing that we need to do is we need to go ahead and change and add some information in here. For example, you'll notice that up at the top it says Chart Tools, and you can go ahead and change your color. Okay, you can do those types of things if you want. But the biggest thing you need to do is you need to go to here to where it says Layout. We have our labels that we need to include. So the first thing I want to do is that we need to add a chart title. So in this case, I'm going to say I want it above the chart, and it's just going to come in there and say chart title. So you can go ahead and click in there just like a text box and just delete everything in there. And you can go ahead and type what this chart is about. Okay, so we have it that. Next, we have our axis, which is this information over here. Okay, our horizontal axis or a vertical. Okay, vertical is up and down, horizontal is going back and forth. So the horizontal is at the bottom. So right now we can say a title below that, and we know that right now each one of these two-letter initials is the name of a state. So I'm going to label that as the word state. Okay, I'm going back to it. I'm going to say vertical because I'm going up and down, and I'm going to say I want it over here, and you can see that my words are going up and down like that. And then I'm just going to type in the word population because that's what we had chosen for our data. So we have our population there. Legend, right now it shows our legend right over. It says Series 1, though that doesn't really mean anything. So we're just going to turn that off in this case. Next we have data labels. Now if you notice I click show, it shows us the number that corresponds up here. So sometimes it's a little bit easier to read. What you might have to do if you choose to do that is you might need to make it a little bit bigger so that it's easier to read. Data table does not show us anything. We don't have anything like that. So at minimum, you need to have a title. You need to have your axes figured out, whether it's population and state for that. Okay, so that is an example of a column graph. Now I'm just going to delete that, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to insert a pie graph. Same idea. I'm going to go to a 3D pie graph, and you'll notice that it makes it look a little bit different. Again, you're going to increase the size. You can see you have all the different choices up here again. But most importantly, you need to go up here where it says Layout. We need to type in our chart title again. So you're going to put that above there. The legend is important. You notice that it has all of our state names there. So we need to make sure that we leave that there. What's the next thing that's interesting is data labels. Now what this will do is it'll put the population again over here, so I can say outside end, and you can see that it kind of all gets messed up. So one of your best choices is probably going to be best fit, and you'll notice that it automatically changes that for us. and allows us to see which of those. Now the colors can sometimes be deceiving, so sometimes you can also add some more information in there, whether it's inside ed. But if I go down to here where it says more data label options, now I can say I want to have series name, and you'll notice that it says series 1, so that's not correct, so we go to category name, and now you can see, I can hit close, now you can see that it has all of my states and the correct information in there. Okay, so those are important pieces that we want to know what those numbers represent. So you have one of two choices. Okay, once again, so you're going to go to highlight your information. You're going to insert one of either a column or a pie graph. You're going to do that for states west of the Mississippi, and then you're going to do a different one for states east of the Mississippi. I'd like to see one column and one pie, so you have both of them. And you can put the other one underneath the first one. When you're done with that, and you have your two charts here, and you're all done, you can exit out, click yes to save your changes, and then you can go ahead and do some choice time. But it's important that when I come back next week, and I'm going to start looking at your folders when I get back to school, that you have this information, you have your two charts done. Okay? And feel free to watch this video over and over again if you get stuck on how to make your graphs.